Factorising algebraic expressions. What factorising means is that we're looking for common factors, and we want to find a common factor between these two terms in order to factorise it. So there's one common factor in there, and it's the common number 3. So 3 is common to both. What I mean by that is that 3 goes into 3 and 3 goes into 9 a complete number of times. So what we do is we say, I'm going to put the 3 there, and I'm going to what we call open a bracket, just meaning write a bracket, maths lingo for writing a bracket there. And we're going to say, well, 3 into 3x goes x, because 3 times x is 3x. 3 into 9 goes 3. And if you remember from expanding brackets and multiplying brackets, if we've got a single bracket and a term in front of it, whether that's a number or a letter or a combination, we multiply this by each of these terms. And just to double check that we've factorised it completely, we can say 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 3 is 9, and we're back to our original expression. So to factorise, if you see the word factor there is in the phrasing factorise, meaning to find the common terms, find the common factors in each of the terms. We don't need to put a multiplication sign in between the 3 and the bracket, because it is conventional that we just put the number or the term or the combination of numbers and letters in front of the bracket, before the bracket, and that always means that we multiply whatever is before the bracket by each term in the bracket. So let's try another example. 5x minus 25. Now with this one, we can see that the common factor is 5. So we do the same thing again. We take the 5 and we put it in front of the bracket, and we put the x there and we put the 5 there. Why have I written x there and 5 there? Because 5 goes into 5x, x times, x just stands for a number which we don't know what it is. 5 into 25, or into minus 25, goes minus 5 times. And there's a little reminder of dividing using negative numbers, because that's a positive and that's a negative, so we're going to get a negative in our answer. So we're going to get a minus 5. And that's actually what is wanted. So if you get a question that says factorise the following expression, that's all it wants you to do. It wants to factorise it, find the common factors, put them outside the bracket or in front of the bracket there, always in front, never that side, always this side, and then put the remaining expression with this common factor outside. Okay, now let's do one more, because we don't always get nice ones like that. Sometimes you might get something like this, 14x plus 42. And you have to spot the common factor between 14 and 42. Well, in this case, the common factor is 14. Now, some of you might say, well, 7 goes into both. That's true. But the common factor is 14. Because 14 goes into 14 once, so let's put 14 outside, or in front of the bracket, I should say, and 14 goes into 42 3 times. 14 times x is 14x, 14 times 3 is 42. 14 and 42 are one of those, that pair of numbers that 14 goes 3 times into 42. Really useful to remember, because it's one of those that can catch you out if you're not really careful, and it might be tempting to put 7 as the common factor. It certainly is a common factor, but if it's only a 1-mark question, then you need to factorise it fully. And the question might say, factorise fully the following expression. And that means make sure that there are no other common factors that you can take out after you've found the common factor here. Okay? So, let's just do one more. Let's look at 8x squared plus 4x. Now this is a little bit different, because now we're going to look at our x terms as well as our x's as well as our numbers. So let's first of all, let's be methodical and let's look at the numbers. What is the common factor of those two numbers? Well, we can see immediately we've got a common factor of 4. So I'm going to put the 4 there. I'm going to put a bracket there, and you can see I've left a little gap here because we haven't finished. Because the other common factor is x. Okay, so I'm going to put the x there, and that means that the common factor is 4x, and that's because 4 goes into 8, so let's just see what the remaining expression is. 4 into 8 goes twice, x into x squared goes x. 4 into 4 goes 1, it's going to be a plus, and x into x goes 1. So in fact we end up with 1 times 1, which is 1. So we end up with the expression plus 1. And we can also say 4x into 4x goes 1. Okay. So that's a bit more tricky because we've got to spot that our x's are common factors as well. So we'll do more of those in a moment when we come back and look at more factorising algebraic expressions.